Okay, so we're ending with proof number 4, and let me tell you, this is the long one, okay? So I have the given written out. P is the midpoint of MR. P is also the midpoint of TQ, and then MR is congruent to TQ. All right, so let's build, all right, off of what we can. So it says that P is the midpoint of MR. So what does that mean about MP and PR? Well, it means that they're congruent. So my next step, I'm going to do MP is congruent to PR. And I'm actually going to keep going, all right, before I move to the next step, because it also says that P is the midpoint of TQ. All right, so if that's the case, I'm going to do in the same step that TP is congruent to PQ. And that is through midpoint theorem. Now, we've been doing this next step, all right, pretty much every single time, where we now have to change that congruence into equals. But I'm actually going to do it 3 times, because I'm going to do it to MR is congruent to TQ. I'm going to do it to PT is congruent to PR. And I'm going to do TP is congruent to PQ. All right, so in this next step, I'm going to make those all equal. All right, so I'm going to do MP equals PR. I'm going to do TP equals PQ. And then I'm going to do MR equals TQ. So I'm going to do it all in one step, and that's your definition of congruence. Okay. So I think that kind of halted us. Like, we don't really have much more to go off of. All right, so what did we do then? So we set them equal. We're kind of stuck. We do segment addition. So we're going to do segment addition for MR, and we're going to do it for TQ, okay? So for MR, I'm going to do MP plus PR equals MR. And in the same step, I'm going to do it for TQ. So TP plus PQ equals TQ. And that's through segment addition. So a lot of students get stuck at this point, and it's because there's something hidden, all right, in step 3 that's useful. And that is this step right here, that MR is equal to TQ, okay? So when you have that, what that means is I can take this MP plus PR and plug it in for my MR, and I'm going to take this TP plus PQ, plug it in for my TQ. So I'm going to get MP plus PR equals TP plus PQ. And that is through substitution. So let's just take a look at what we're trying to prove now. All right, so just kind of keep in mind what we're trying to prove is that MP is congruent to PQ. So we have this PR and TP in our way, but what students like to do is just to subtract those, but we can't. We can't just subtract them because we actually don't know what they're equal to, right? So what I want you to look at is actually step 3, because if you look at PR, do you see how MP is equal to PR? So couldn't I take this MP and plug it in? Here, I'm going to use a different color so it's a little bit easier to see. All right, couldn't I take this MP right here and plug it in for that PR? And same idea, I'm going to take this PQ here and plug it in for my TP because PQ is equal to TP. So what I'm going to get is MP plus MP equals PQ plus PQ, and that's through substitution. So another substitution step. And if I look, how many MPs do I have on that side? Well, I have 2, right? So this is going to become 2 MP equals 2 PQ. And so that's through simplify, because I'm just simplifying on both sides. And now if I have 2 of them on each side, can I divide by 2 on each side to get MP equals PQ to get rid of those 2? So if I divide by 2, that will cancel out. And so that's through division. And now the last step is I just need to change it into congruence. So then I have that segment MP is congruent to segment PQ, and that's your definition of congruence. And that's my final answer, okay? All right, I hope that made sense. I hope that cleared it up. If not, you need to make sure you come see me for office hours, all right? Other than that, have a good one, guys.